welcome to the SBSB podcast, Seaback Spotback. This episode, the topic for this episode is going to be favorite villains, which once again is very random. Favorite villains from just media, I'm guessing. Well, I think we chose TV shows or movies. Because y'all don't read books.
100%. No.
Why? Would you have had a list for us if it was books?
I know, right?
I don't know. If it was books, maybe. Books, maybe. I have to think real hard about that. But, no. Yeah, actually, I'm thinking about now.
Main villain from Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief. That's a top 10 right there.
I actually haven't read the Percy Jackson series, which is a crime.
Really? I mean, didn't our sister read them?
Yeah, she did. And then I just never got into them.
No. I think I read the one of them. I don't know which one it was, or at least by the same author, because he has like 4 or 5 different series.
Rick Riordan.
Yeah, Rick Riordan.
Wow, the extent of y'all's book knowledge. But yeah,
I'm like, I know that guy.
Yeah,
we're doing villains from specifically movies and TV shows. I personally don't have anyone from the top of my head. Because are we doing like favorite villains or like what?
Yeah,
well, best villains?
I was like, go on, Nikki, because you this is more your topic that you actually suggested.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just because it was me and my now fiance. Wow. Anyways, we were just talking about like villains.
Wow, brag.
Yeah. Anyway, no, we were just talking about like villains and stuff, and I was like,
she said yes,
and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ignore that. Anyways. I'm like, oh, we could probably do that because, I was like, why not? So I just did like some of them is just because I thought they were good villains. Some of them is because I personally just like them, or it's like the impact of them. And for like me personally, so I guess like I can start off with an easy one that I put down. Is that one of my favorite villains? And I know like you guys might think like, oh wait, but wouldn't it be the other one because that's one of my favorite characters from the series, but I'm like, no, well, I get it, but the one I put down was Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
because if you remember in our childhood,
crazy. I'm not going to lie.
Your childhood,
okay, wait.
Yeah,
Wait, so like I said, are we doing favorite villains as in I like this villain?
I just picked, my criteria was just anything really,
or
but like,
is he just a good villain, but I hate him?
It could be either one, I guess.
I guess it could
is
be
whatever
either.
you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's just like a villain that you think and like, I guess kind of like, justify why you picked them for, I guess.
Because the crazy part is I have villains that fill in both those criterias. So
yeah, exactly,
yes,
right. So it's like kind of, it's just kind of it's just in a gray area. But I picked Cell from DBZ because if you guys remember, right? We watched the cassette. It was we had one episode, right? It was just the same cassette. I mean, I know there was one with when
what the same cassette, yeah.
What was it? No, but it's like the appearance of Cell and just remembering that like. Oh my! Just the whole. I mean, and then we watched because we watched the same episode all over, like over and over again. So we never knew what the heck happened, right? and then we actually and then we finally watched it, and we're like, oh my god, like this is what happened. And I just remember watching it, and I'm like, oh my god, like Goku dies. And then it's like, oh my god, it's so sad because Gohan has to kill Cell.
Dies all the time.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean? Because he was like collecting for the spirit bomb, and then he dies with Cell, and then Cell's
like. So like out of all of the villains from DBZ, you chose Cell?
That's what I'm saying. Because one of my favorite characters is Frieza, right? One of my favorite characters is Frieza, but I didn't pick Frieza because like. I do like Frieza,
of course.
But yes, I like Freezer. But it's like Cell was like it was a way like more impactful memory for me, like from childhood, because we watched that cassette so many times, and then going back and then resuming from that episode, you're like, oh my god, like this happened because then the androids showed up, and then Cell ate them, and Trunks comes, and it's just a whole like a million things happening at once during Cell era that it's just so
Cell
good.
Arc is insane.
I mean, and then his theme song is just perfect. Like it's probably the best villain theme song in DBZ. That's just my opinion, but it's just like I just thought that
Landon's like, that is your opinion.
No. I remember him specifically being
chuckle in the back
obsessed with this theme song, And
Really?
that's like I don't know why
Yeah.
that's such a core memory. But I mean, to be factual, you did at some point have Cell as your Facebook profile. So
Okay, that's
Oh
true.
my god,
This
I
you
does
did.
sum
Okay,
up a
that's
lot.
Oh my
true.
god.
That's true. But yeah, but like Cell is. I mean, like, because obviously my favorite DBZ character is Brawly, but
Yes.
but his character arc and just him personally just sucks, right? It's
Broly
terrible.
is so
boring.
cringe
Exactly.
now.
It's just yeah, exactly.
If
you know what I mean?
think about
So
him
it's like,
versus New Broly,
okay.
he's so cringe.
oh my god, here we go.
Oh my
Here
god.
we go. See, you see, but Cell is like, whoa, you know what I mean? Just like seeing him for the first time and
Yeah.
getting introduced to him in the DBZ world is like insane. So, and you thought he was like the biggest shit, you know? Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm already cursing, but yeah, it's. I just thought that Cell was a good villain to start off.
No,
So
Cell
yeah.
is a pretty good villain. Like I think the Cell arc in DBZ was quite messy. I feel like we probably talked about this before because I have talked about the Cell arc here on the podcast. But the Cell arc is pretty messy. But I think what makes Cell really work well is that he comes at a point where you think that like there's so many turns in this arc, and where we think that there is nothing else. There's no more beings that are stronger than the people we've already met. But then there's fucking Cell, and he starts absorbing people, and he can use everybody's moves, and you're like, what the fuck? And also his
he's from
opening,
the future.
He is from the future. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, I know. It's
He's
like,
not, he's
what?
not part of
Yeah.
anyone's timelines. He's kind of from the future, but he also has the best introduction like sort of scene ever, where it's like Piccolo goes to this village. I think this episode is actually kind of scrapped from some versions of the show, but Piccolo goes to a village, to this like town, and there's just clothes lying everywhere. Right?
Yeah,
you can hear the
right.
wind
I do
rustling.
remember
There's no
that.
fucking music, and you see this guy running, I think, away from like Cell, and yet you don't see Cell yet at this point. And Cell's like needle tail stabs in this man and sucks like everything out of his body. It just leaves this fleshy mess on the ground, and then you see Cell, and he's
Ew.
like absorbed this entire town, and it's like, dude, it's like a horror scene. One of the best
Yeah.
DBZ introductions ever.
Yeah, I mean, what the older like anything really shows a little more gore, shows a little more, detail into that. So it kind of really nails it in that like, oh my god, like this is crazy.
He's a big deal. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he was definitely a big deal. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I guess to segue off of more animated things, because we're talking about anime here. I don't particularly have an anime villain in my brain, but more recently, notably at least for animated, is by far the wolf from Death.
I knew you were gonna say that.
The Puss in Boots movie.
Oh
Have
yeah.
you
Yeah, I
seen
knew
this
you were gonna
movie,
say that.
Right.
I haven't, but I've heard a lot
Bro.
about like the wolf.
Death is great.
great.
Dude.
And
Death is
Yeah,
great.
Death is great.
I've seen clips of him, and I was like, okay,
yeah.
like that's pretty interesting.
You've
but
seen all the
I
thirst traps.
haven't.
You've seen all the.
Yeah.
All the thirst traps. Oh
All
my
the
God,
time.
I'm joking.
honestly.
I'm joking. He's not hot. He's not.
Are
hot.
you though?
Okay.
The internet would beg to differ. Okay.
He's,
100%.
he's such a good villain, and obviously at the end of the day, he's literally just like the epitome of death, and he's like a force of nature more than anything. And at the end of the story, he serves more of like as a milestone for our character's growth, which is what makes like Hibbs and his purpose in the story so fucking good. But just
Yeah.
the physical manifestation of him and what he like when he does like lurk around in the shadows or appear in the movie, it's so good. It's done so well.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal what they did with him. One of my favorite animated villains of all time, for sure.
Of all time.
I would say of all time. He's I haven't put a lot of thought
Puss in
into it,
Boots
but
movie.
he's up there.
Wow. Okay. That's a big statement, I guess. But
I mean, no, he is very good though.
He's
He's
very
very
good.
well done
Yeah,
into the
if
the
you see
movie.
it, you
Yeah.
understand.
he serves his purpose.
Of course,
Alright, there
we
go.
also have in that same movie John Mulaney's what's it called?
Oh my god!
I don't know his character's name.
He's
He's the kid with the pie.
Jack. Is it Jack?
It's
Is
Jack.
Jack
Jack
Horner?
Horner, yes. Jack Horner is also in that
Yeah.
film, and he is one of the funniest villains ever. But
He is a very funny villain.
Okay.
But I think it's
it feeds off of the John
yeah.
Mulaney bit more than anything. But
Just his
yeah,
dry
just his dry humor.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, no, that movie's pretty good though.
It is a
Very
good
baller.
movie.
Kash, do you have a villain that you?
Well, since we're talking about like animated villains,
Yeah, I already said that.
Okay, because okay, well, I'm adding on to it. Okay, but
Way to sound like
yeah,
a broken
so
record. Jeez.
right. So there is because you guys don't watch One Piece.
No.
But there's a lot
brother.
of villains.
Don't
in
do it.
One
Don't do it to me.
Piece.
Not here, not now.
Wait, the live action?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
just One Piece.
Okay, at
Hello,
first-
not the
at
live
first I was
action.
like,
Did I specify?
No,
No.
because you said it as if
One
like
Piece
you know
live action.
something we would never touch.
No, you guys have not seen. No, but you guys haven't like watched too much. Or okay, I know Landon has. Like he's read some, he's watched some, but I don't think you have
watched.
at all.
Well, I watched up
Mickey.
to like up until they hit the Grand Line, and then I got.
Man, that's when it gets.
I know, but
good.
it was just it's just like the same trope of like.
Okay. Okay,
you
this
know,
guy.
but anyways,
Okay.
continue, sorry.
Anyways, no, it's funny because like I was actually talking to Cece about One Piece
Right.
a few days ago, and because she's trying to find animes to watch, and I was just like, hey, you should watch One Piece.
Don't
I'm like,
do
I know
that
it's
to her.
long, but it's like I
The
was
length,
like, I know
that's
it's
the
long,
true
but you should do
villain.
it. But then she was like, no, I feel like it's just a pirate story, and I'm like,
It's just a
now what does
pirate
that
story.
mean?
It's the best pirate
Wait,
story.
hold up.
I was like, now what does that mean? And she's like, they just go on like adventures. I'm like, yeah. What do you mean? So she didn't want to watch that apparently. Not her thing. Whatever. But so anyways, back to the villain. I'm like, okay, One Piece just has a lot of good villains. I honestly love all the
Yeah.
villains. Like some of them are some of them are like goofy and it's just like really funny and fun to watch, but then some of them are actual threats and you're like, oh no, like I hate you a lot, but like you're very good at being a villain, you know? And one of the ones I do want to highlight, though, because I think I liked her a lot when I had seen her. It's Uta from the One Piece Red
Okay.
movie.
Good. Non-canon. Non-canon.
because-
So I can do
Well,
this.
kind of semi-canon.
I can do this.
Because I was like, a lot of the villains in the actual canon like manga and show and stuff. Actually no, I'm like I can't say that they don't have stakes because they do. But for her specifically, like she was ready to kill everybody. Like she was ready to take everyone out.
Doesn't she
I'm like, I
cast
feel
a
like-
Parrish song? That's what she does?
Yeah, basically, yeah, she like does a song and it makes everybody like basically fall asleep. I think she has like it's like slowly like killing them basically. And so she puts them all to sleep and then she's planning on killing herself. So then everybody just dies. Nobody ever wakes up, right?
Okay.
And so that was like the whole thing, and like the whole thing's just basically like a concert, and it's like funny, but
Yeah, I mean, but
I
that's
was just like,
interesting.
damn, like
though.
she was ready, like she was like on the verge of dying before like anybody interfered to be like, hey, by the way, maybe we should like try to get out of this, because like at that point everybody was already under the spell. So I think it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but the Marines end up coming and being like, hey, we need to stop her because she's about to kill everybody. But yeah, no, I think she's a great villain because you don't really expect it, but she was ready to do it. And I was right there with her.
Wow.
No, not
Yeah,
really.
like, wait,
because
hold
there
up.
was a lot of
That statement though.
No, I'm just kidding. Because there was a lot of characters. It was very like fan servicey with like the amount of characters in there, because there was like characters from other crews that were there,
Yeah.
and there was no reason for them to be there.
It was
you
a
know,
jolly
It
old
didn't make
concert.
sense.
Exactly, it was a concert. But yeah, I mean, just in general, a lot of One Piece villains.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Doflamingo, I
I was
hate
gonna
his
say,
ass.
you are
hate his
allowed to
ass,
name
but-
drop. Just don't spoil anything.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Yeah, Doflamingo, I hate his ass, but that whole arc is actually like one of my favorite arcs. Same with well, like the most recent arc with like Wano, like I don't honestly, I don't really care for Kaido as a villain, but he is a villain. So there's a lot
He's
of
the
villains
most
that
villain
are
to
just
villain.
kind of meh. Right. There's a lot of villains that are just kind of meh to me, but there's a lot of good villains. So it depends. But yeah, there's I don't know, with the villains, like I said in One Piece, like they're all goofy too.
Yeah, their
so,
roster is insane. All their designs are phenomenal. So
Yeah, but yeah. Just any villain from One Piece, I guess.
Wow, just gave a whole
Just any.
list of just One Piece villains. Okay.
you'll get the
I
villains,
guess.
the One Piece villains list on Wikipedia, and that is Cash's.
Yeah.
For
that is
real.
Cash's
Yeah.
Just like
list.
visit that.
There's
yeah.
a lot of them,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
but
Just my list.
wow. Okay. Anyways, okay, let me I will venture off into actual, like, I guess like live action movies, but
Oh, he said
another
actual.
villain.
I caught that. Oh, he said actual, meaning actual movies.
But
These are actual
yeah,
villains.
not
Actual
animated,
movies,
guys.
okay,
Actual
Not
okay.
drawn. But yeah, so one of them that I think too, but see, so this one's also from childhood that I just remember being like so kind of freaked out about it was T-1000, the Terminator villain.
You have
He
he's
phenomenal.
good.
That did not even grace
He's
my
He
good.
is
mind.
insane. Like, because
Yeah.
just remember what's
I was genuinely
the
stressed
guy's
out.
name?
What's
What's the little guy's name? What's the boy's name?
John.
I don't
John,
know.
I think.
something.
Yeah, like
Oh,
John
the,
Smith.
the, the the scene, something
Basically.
typical.
It might
But,
have
it's just that one scene, guys. That one scene, the scene that traumatized me was the phone call scene.
Oh, yeah.
That he's talking.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
talking to
Oh,
him,
my
and then
God.
he's like, "When are you coming home?" And after he finds out that it's not his is it stepmom or aunt, something like that, whoever she was,
or his mom.
And-
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, no, his mom is in the asylum.
No.
But
This
I
is
guess his
this
stepmom.
Yeah, maybe
It's his stepmom.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's his stepmom. And she's in the kitchen, but it pans out and it's like the finger,
His mother
Yeah.
and
figure.
it kills the dad, and it's just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that whole sequence. It's just like whoa, and it's just like the relentless
Crazy.
hunt. The relentless, like, I'm coming back, and it's like, oh my god, when are you gonna die, kind of a thing,
And because he's like a robot, so there's like no emotion
Yeah, and-
in any of this, and it's
and
so
it's like
jarring.
insane because he the actor, I forget his name, but he trained running without breathing, or like not breathing, but like without
Looking
looking
like
like
he's
you're
breathing.
breathing, or like you're hard, like you're in,
Oh, yeah.
so when he's running, it's like actually him running, but like he's actually doing it without moving because he's supposed to be a robot, so he doesn't get tired. And it's like insane how much work he put into just that part. That little bit of it, like, I gotta look as robotic as possible, and it's like he played it out so well, and it's just dead, no emotion whatsoever, and it's that I think that villain is so good, like it was so well done.
I think the crazy part is, I think, like, the behind the scenes, like, trivia about that is that, like, he actually got so good at running because
Yeah.
of, like, him training, that he ran faster than the motorbike that, like, he was supposed to be chasing.
Oh yeah, right,
So,
right,
so
right,
he had to
right,
slow
right.
down.
Yeah.
They had to actually tell him, "Hey, slow the fuck down," because he was actually
That's
outrunning
really
the
funny.
motorbike.
I do
so.
remember them saying something like that. Yeah. So that's one of my villains.
No,
that I thought
he
was
is great,
He's
and
pretty good.
I think, I was like, do you even think about it? Like, Terminator 2, Judgment Day is, like, that whole film, having him being the main villain was, like, one of the most captivating things ever. Because of, like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
his ability to transform into any of the cast, you know, to, like, trick them. Like the mom, you know, where he, like, transforms into her, and he's using her voice to, like, try to find out where the fuck
to lure
to find
him.
out where John
Yeah.
is, you know. And of course, like, you know, when we first get introduced to where he's trying to kill later on when he's trying to kill the John's, like, actual mom inside the prison, he's, like, transforming to all the other guards and stuff like that. Like, that is also, like, you know, it makes such a villain that feels so unstoppable, and just he'll pull
Yeah.
anything out of, like, his fucking back pocket just to, like, you know, be more powerful. Like, you know, him getting shot and then him still coming back together, him getting melted, like when he blows up in the truck, but then, like, all his little metal pieces
my
come back
God.
together.
Yeah, we'll just come
And
back
it's-
together.
Yeah.
It's this,
Yeah.
you know, it's this super, like, tense scene where you just see all the metal bits connect back to each other, and it's like, what the fuck? This guy cannot be stopped. He's just, they're never gonna kill him. They do, you know, obviously,
Yeah.
eventually, but it was so, like, terrifying and stressful as a kid who watched
Right.
this movie.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. So yeah, I mean that's kind of all that I have for at least him.
Yeah, it's like, it's like he's definitely like a good villain where you like sit there as an audience member and you're just like, yeah, I don't know how they're gonna defeat this guy.
Yeah,
Right,
there's
right.
no
You're just
end.
like,
There's
I don't
no
know
end in
how.
sight. You know, there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Right, yeah.
You're like, these
They-
characters
they-
are fucked.
Yeah,
They're-
they
they're gonna
they
die
shot
here.
him. They ran him over.
Yeah.
they
Arnold has, like, a
basically
shotgun, and he's shooting holes in
exploded
this
them.
guy, and the
Yeah.
guy's just pulling it
Arnold.
back.
the main point is that it was Arnold that was doing it. But you know, yeah. So it was. Yeah, I think he was he's like indestructible, or at least he made it seem like he was indestructible.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's also in the future.
crazy.
Huh, look at that. There's a trend going on.
Okay.
So these villains that I have coming up, I hate to say it because I feel like this is on everybody's list, and it kind of like it pains me because in order to research for this up,
it pains you.
Yes,
does
it pains me. It pains me because I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like it's a conversation that's
a broken record.
A conversation that's already been had, and people are just like, oh great, yeah, he's gonna say this, but like I have to talk about it because these villains are so fucking good. Having watched No Country for Old Men recently,
God,
Anton Chigurh.
No
Anton
way.
Chigurh.
You picked Anton.
He's such a fucking good villain. I don't think I've ever watched a movie and just felt that like I hated a villain so badly because there is no way to stop Anton. There is no fucking way. He doesn't get stopped in the fucking movie, and he just seems like this like force of nature. He has like in the same way as with the T-1000. He has like no moral code. This guy just kind of comes at you.
His moral code is flipping a coin. Okay, that's his moral code.
That's actually a good reasoning to showing that he has the moral code. That's such senseless.
Well, I mean,
that's flipping a coin.
It's the same. It's the same concept as Two-Face.
It's exactly the same
Two-Face.
as Two-Face. But he's so like the scenes with him are just so.
It is intense.
So eerie. They're so intense.
Yeah, they are.
Javier Bardem is the guy who plays it, which I think is crazy because he also plays as Stilgard for the Dune movies, and I fucking love Stilgard, but I hate Anton Chigurh. I hate him so bad. He's such a good villain. Like I said, I think he's on everyone's fucking list of best villains of all time. Yeah, as you follow him in the film, I think he's obviously the most memorable character from the film. If anybody talks about the film, they're gonna talk about Anton, and like
I think he made the movie, right? I think so, but even still, I like me personally. I mean, I know we're kind of digressing a little bit, but like I didn't like the movie. I didn't like the film at all.
You didn't like the film?
But that was just
okay.
me. No, it was just. I mean, it was good, but like to me, not that. I don't have the same sentiment in terms of like he was unstoppable. I just thought that the people that were hunting him or like trying to stop him were incompetent, or they made the most dumb mistake. And I'm like, bro, come on, what's his name? Not Woodley, is it Woodley? What's his name?
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. I was like, bro, you're gonna die like that? Like, come on.
Woody Harrelson's
I was like,
character. I can't believe he was just another hitman, and he literally just died within like the first 30 minutes of being introduced. It was very funny.
Yeah.
I think it was morbid
terrible.
seeing the way that like Anton would deal with people who are messing with his work,
like
regardless
no
of where his allegiances are. Because he was like, you're messing with my work. This is my work, and so he's like, I have to kill you. You know that, and he just kills him. Also, to digress, because of your statement, I have to defend the film. Not really. I understand. I understand why you don't like the film, and the big reason why though is when I had first finished the film. And it ends on Tommy Lee Jones talking about a dream he had.
Okay. Oh my.
And
goodness.
I'm like, what is going on here?
That dream makes no sense to me. Still, I think about it all the time, and I'm like, you know what? Just cut that whole scene out. Like your little monologue, cut it out. I actually
really like it at the end of the day because.
Oh my goodness.
So no, this is the reason why. This is the reason why, Mickey. I was like, I don't understand this film. What is this film trying to do? Josh Brolin's character gets killed off screen. What is wrong with this movie? And then I looked at the directors, and it's the Coen brothers. And I was like,
oh, God.
I fucking know what this movie's about now, and I fucking hate them. The Coen brothers are the same people who directed The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which is on my top 10 films of all time. And that film as well,
which is also crazy.
That is crazy.
that film is an extremely nihilistic film, a film that talks about how
it is,
the moral composite, or like just the idea of like death and the idea of people's significance in the world is insignificant. And so having stuff like Josh Brolin's character dying off screen, which is a character we've been following the entire he's at the end of the day the main character of the film, just see him die off screen and having like this unceremonious thing is sort of like to grace over the idea of shit happens. It doesn't matter. He fucking dies. That's just how the story goes, and it doesn't matter because they don't show it. They don't let us know. Even for a little bit, I was confused too because I wasn't even sure it was him who was dead. But yeah, and things like that. And Tommy Lee Jones' whole because he goes to meet his brother and he has this whole moment where he's talking to his brother about how he doesn't understand the cycle of violence and the cycle of bad things that happen. He's been a sheriff for almost like 3 decades now, and it seems that things are just getting crazier, and and things are, the crimes are out-criming him, and he can't keep up with it. And his brother is just like, things will fucking happen. You can't keep up with things. They'll never go away. The evil never leaves. And this is pretty much the moral of the story of the film. And that's when I was like re-looking back on it. I'm like, I fucking get this now. And him talking about his dream is pretty much him saying, at the end of the day, the only thing that is true and absolute is that everyone fucking dies. Because he talks about how he rides up the mountain with his dad on the horse, and his dad is waiting there for him, waiting to greet him pretty much. And that was his dream. Pretty much saying that, like, yeah, we're all gonna fucking die at the end of the day. And my dad's gonna be there, and that's all that's gonna matter. That's what we all know. Everything else we do not know. And the film ends with him talking about his dream. And it's like, that's when I realized, I fucking hate this movie so much. It's the Coen brothers, and it's a really good movie though, but it's the Coen brothers, and that's my justification of why I think
it is. It is a good movie, but to me, it's just not satisfying at all.
It's not. I think that's the point.
It leaves you. Yeah, it leaves you kind of high and dry, and I just don't like it. I was like, no, thank you.
Mickey, when I had first watched The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, I stopped halfway through the movie because of one of the stories was so fucking unsatisfying and made me so angry. I stopped. I just fuck this movie. I don't want to watch this movie. But then I came back because I was like, I do have to finish it. But that's the same, like, I understand that feeling of like being left high and dry, being anticlimactic, or ending in a way that just doesn't feel good. That's why you just
don't watch those kind of movies.
Yeah, but they're very compelling. They spawn the best villains in movies.
It's like it was so revered as like a great movie or almost perfect movie. That's what everybody always says. It's
I don't think it's a perfect film, but it is a very
almost
good
perfect
movie.
That's what quote unquote they say. And so I was like, okay, let me watch it. And I watched it, and I was like, you know what? I don't like this movie. So I was like, what the hell? Like, I wasted 2 hours, 3 hours, because it's a long ass movie too. So I was like, ain't no way. But anyways, pulling it back, Kash, do you have another villain?
Oof, after that one,
I don't know, like, cause I'm like, see, I don't watch as many like movies and TV shows as y'all.
About animes, did anime villain?
Yeah, I mean, there's no like, I don't know, like notable mentions. Okay, how do you? I'm just gonna open the floor, cause like, there's no good like horror movie villain, right?
Okay,
like the horror movie villains is like the horror thing.
Yeah.
Like the thing that's like haunting them, or the thing that's like, but I'm like, I don't think I've seen one that's good. The devil, but like, he's never.
let's just go for the big one. Let's go for the big one. The devil.
The devil.
Skip everybody else. Let's just go to the one. This tells you how much Kash prepared.
Well, yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
So how do you feel about
the devil? Wow. Okay.
Okay. When you said horror movie villains, the first villain that did come to my mind is Jigsaw. I think he's the first villain.
Really? Okay, Jigsaw.
But he's
Jigsaw with the guy. What's his name?
I mean, he's the same. He's the same thing. John Kramer. He's like the same thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because I mean, essentially, I know later on in the movies, it's fucking stupid, and like somebody else controls Jigsaw or takes the mantle of Jigsaw.
Yeah, but the beginning. The first 3 films of Saw.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I think he plays as a very good villain. It's this very, very sick and twisted sort of mindset behind like accepting death, which is really, like I said, done very well. And I think he obviously like an absolute icon in like horror movie tropes and stuff like that, without a doubt. But that he's the first villain I would say that comes into mind.
Yeah. Well, I think he's one of the more iconic ones. I mean, obviously you can go with Jason and Freddy and Michael Myers, but like those like I think Freddy is a good one. Not even a good one. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I mean, they're...
Is he the villain or is he the victim, though?
Okay, but what did he do with the kids? Come
Top
on.
10 victims.
No, you're right.
In movies and TV shows.
No, you're right.
So, it's kind of like, okay. So I don't know about horror. Horror. Horror's hard.
The reason why when I think about the Jasons and the Freddys is like, they're not characters. They're not characters that have...
Freddys.
They're not characters who have like genuine motivations. They're kind of just a character to be a caveat to kill our main characters, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, right. I
'cause
mean,
at the
but
end of the
Jason,
day-
but
They
Jason,
do.
Jason
They wanna
and Freddy,
kill.
but Freddy's like, oh,
Freddy
screw you
the-
guys for like burning me, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, I mean, he
go ahead
has
and,
like a
you know.
semi backstory, but I think at the end of the day, like, even from like kill to kill, it's like I'm just a crazy guy who's gonna kill you. It's the same way with like Pennywise, for example. It's like I'm crazy alien clown and I'm killing people, and I get that
Wow.
Pennywise
Is
is
it
like,
the same thing as Anton? Sorry, going back.
Anton. Well,
but you
no,
know,
but
it's
no, but Anton's is like he's like a guy, and he holds compelling things to make you like believe he's like a real person.
wow.
Of course, like there's probably no, maybe there is, but there's no real.
There's
people who are
similarities,
like Anton,
but
like you know, like we know there's no one like Pennywise, and it's just
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
he's
grandiose and the novelty of having somebody so big that like that they're that they'll wake up from being
you're
shot
kind of powerless
or
too.
they'll
Yeah.
kill you in your dreams, which I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I think obviously they're
But-
great villains per se, but
In the horror industry, but the
Yeah,
horror, like I said, I think we shouldn't touch the horror scene like industry because that it's just
yeah,
it's a different kind of definition when it comes to villains for them, I guess.
it is.
No,
it
you're
is.
right.
So that's a little rough, but
Scar from The Lion King.
wow,
God.
Scar. Okay, let's talk about
He's
Scar.
very.
He had a
was
point.
like the one of the first guys that I was like, yo, that's a bad guy.
Cash as a 3-year-old, that's a bad guy right there.
That's a bad guy. No, I'm like, no, for real, because we watch. Like, well, I guess, like, there was always the evil stepmothers in, like, the princess
Right,
movies.
right.
But, like, no one was like, oh, no, this guy killed a person. Like, or, I guess, a lion. This guy killed someone else. I think Scar was, a great villain when I was a child.
Yeah, I guess. Obviously, when he kills Mufasa, you're like, wow, this man deserves to die, like 100%.
Well,
You know,
okay, I didn't
so,
have those
I mean,
kind of thoughts as a kid, but
Yeah, I didn't
I
think
understand.
that
Well, no,
either.
well, no,
I was just like,
but
damn,
like,
he's like, for
yeah,
real,
like
for
you're
real.
like, oh, he's evil kind of thing, because he sends Simba into the what was it called? I don't know, what the elephant graveyard, and it's like, what the
Yeah.
heck? Like, what are you doing? He's a kid, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, that was like I think that was like
Manipulation.
the first brush, right, with like a villain that I'm like, yo, this guy, like there's stakes
Yeah.
somewhat. And it's like a kids movie,
right,
you know.
right,
So
okay,
yeah,
I guess valid point. Another one of mine. So this one, okay. So this one is the villain, but it's also the actor that does it so well.
oh, the
From-
actor's a villain. Okay,
from
okay.
the beginning. No. From like the beginning to like even to like now, and I would say
Okay.
Goblin William Dafoe, so
Oh,
good.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
It's
yeah.
so
I had
good.
somebody else
He-
in mind, but yeah.
Oh, he is just so good. Like, he was like crazy and insane. Like, you would like the Thanksgiving dinner when he's when him and Peter are just going
Go
back
insane,
and forth at it.
insane.
I'm like, oh my god, like I can't. And you know what I mean? Or him like trying to like investigate because he's like, why is there blood? And he's it's just
Oh my God,
just
yeah.
it just him
Unraveling
William
of
Dafoe
this, like,
is crazy. Like him as Goblin is wild. And then even in the new Spider-Man with Tom Holland, it's like, oh my god, like that's Goblin.
Yeah.
Like that because like for example, you kind of compare all the villains and you're like, no one's William Dafoe though.
Yeah.
Like you can see Doc Ock, you can see Jamie Foxx, and you're like, but William Dafoe, like Goblin, he's the insane one, like the real insane one. And it's just you can see that like he's the best villain there, and so and then obviously just growing up with the original Spider-Man, like him,
Yeah.
Goblin is iconic, just iconic. Like the fire scene in the apartment when he's like faking to be the girl and trying to help, you know what I mean, and then
Yeah.
Oh my
whoops
God,
the
yeah.
crap out of Spider-Man. Yeah, it's just I'm like Goblin is awesome.
I think he brought something to the table of like superhero movies that just didn't exist, which was making a villain actually scary. Like before Spider-Man, I think you've had like God, I'm trying to think about it. You've had your tons and tons of Batman movies, but none of the villains were really
Yeah.
scary. None of them were really written like in a way that was like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy's like like a big deal or anything like that. But the Green Goblin, whenever we first saw him, it was just like, dude, this guy's like, he fucking attacks Aunt May, like he attacks.
Oh,
his
yeah,
aunt.
right,
He makes her
Yeah,
go
for
crazy, and
real.
it's like, dude, this
Yeah.
guy is on a next level shit. He's really out to fucking get Peter, and it's one of those things where I think you see like a super like a superhero villain or supervillain actually being written well in film, at least I would say. And I would say Willem Dafoe brings something to the table, having such a high and well done performance of Green Goblin, both in the Raimi film and in No Way Home, which was phenomenal. I think he did such a good thing. Like the scene where Peter's spider tingle goes off in the apartment.
Oh yeah, right.
Is still one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
In the Spider-Man trilogy.
It's
such subtle storytelling of that, like, like the Green Goblin comes out whenever, it's not something that like Willem Dafoe's character can control. He kind of just crawls out from the depths of him whenever, and when he does, like I said, that's when Peter notices it, and it's just it's so good. It's genuinely so good.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just one. So I don't know if you have another one. Landon.
Well, to continue to what's it called, to talk about the mainstream ones, the ones that are on everyone's list, because this character is also going to be on everyone's list. And I also recently watched Inglourious Bastards.
Okay,
That's
a decent
Landa.
Movie. Hans
Landa.
Terrible.
Holy
Let's talk about him.
Terrible.
Fuck, do I hate this guy with every ounce in my fucking body. He is such a good villain. He's such a hateable, like, he's such a spite. Like, I fucking hate this guy so much. I think just the best way to write a villain is to make a villain who, is like, he's a character who toys with his victims. He's a character who's always a step ahead. He's fucking playing 5D chess with like multiverse time travel. Like, we don't fucking know what he's doing at all times, and he's always going to find out. And when he finds out, well, that he finds out, it's just, the characters are fucked. You're like, they're not gonna win because Hans knows. Hans like has gotten ahead. Inglourious Bastards is a beautiful film. Like, great. I fucking love this movie to death. But
it's a good film.
It's the way Tarantino writes his dialogues and he writes his scenes, and the way he writes like the mental battles between characters. You have I guess without like, okay, because the major scenes with Hans is, you have the farm scene, which is the opening scene of the entire film. Very, very good scene. One of the scenes, I guess, a more minor scene where it's sort of like this is one of those scenes as well where it's like, goddamn, I fucking hate this guy. Is he has a scene where he approaches. Okay, so I have to backtrack a little bit. So the farm scene happens, right? And he's known as the Jew hunter. He's known as the Jew hunter, yeah, or the Jew catcher. So he catches Jews for Nazi Germany. He comes to this farmhouse to interrogate the farmer guy about this Jewish family that was farmers around them, and he's asking him if they are housing this Jewish family against the state. And of course, this farmer guy, he plays it safe. He plays it well. He doesn't give anything away that he's holding any families there. He's not hiding any families from the state. And Hans just does this dissection of like being like, you know who I am, right? Like, what am I? Making the guy tell Hans who he is, what his reputation is, what will happen to him if he does not do the right, does not follow accordingly and stuff like that. And Hans does this with a smile on his face because he fucking knows that this guy is hiding something. And it's the speech where he gives a speech about Jewish people and what he thinks the Jewish people are in comparisons to animals. And it's one of those moments where you realize this guy is just the most fucking despicable person on the planet. And he pretty much squeezes this information out of this guy without even lifting a finger. Just instilling fear into this guy to reveal that he's hiding this family there. And this follows up with a scene where, they kill. I don't know if we can say that here. Pretty much they catch this Jewish family hiding in the floorboards, but one of them gets away. Later in the film, this character is now managing a theater, and she has fake papers and everything. But she gets hit on by this German soldier. And so this German soldier is very persistent. And, of course, like, she's, her family's getting fucking killed by Nazis. They were killed by Nazis. So she's not going to, like, fall for this guy or comply to anything this guy does. But this guy, pretty much forces her to go to this dinner. They go to this dinner. And at this point in time, there's this huge tension between him and her. And you're like, okay, well, we know, like, this shouldn't be anything. And there should be nothing that's happening here. And she has to play it safe because, the Nazis will do anything to her pretty much. So she kind of has to play it safe where she can't offend him or anything, or he might do something to her. And so she plays it safe, but then he leaves because this other guest comes. And this guest is Hans' character. So Hans comes, and I fucking swear to God, it's the soundtrack. It's the sound bite of like, it's like not drums, but it's almost like, I don't remember. It's like heart thumping when you see him. And it's only for like about maybe a second and a half, but it's so fucking stressful when you see him. And oh god, I should have mentioned this before, but on the farm, the farmer was a milk farmer or a dairy farmer, so he made cows and stuff like that, right? And when Hans sits down with the farmer, he asks the farmer for a cup of milk, and he has a cup of milk while the farmer has like, I think like whiskey or something like that, right? But so when Hans comes back, and this is the girl who escaped from him before, and they're at this fancy fucking restaurant ordering pastries and champagne and stuff. Hans sits down at the table and he orders milk. He orders milk. And it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I fucking hate this guy. Because it's this notion of like, he knows. He just fucking knows. She gets away. Like she doesn't reveal anything. But like, it's this moment where you get psyched out when you're like Hans just knows. He knows this is the girl from the farm and that she got away. But he is just one of the like absolute best villains in all film and television, I would say. Without a doubt, it pains me that they're like that. Like, I want more scenes of him. I don't know if that sounds crazy.
No, you don't.
I want more scenes of him.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So, like, because
you want more distressing scenes.
Yes, I want more.
Stress me out more.
Scenes. I want more distressing scenes, but like the film has ended, and the film ends in a way that like that also like it's rewarding to a degree, but it's also like, damn, like, just I hate this character so much and I wish more happened to him. I wish worse things happened to him, but he kind of gets off on, I would say, a light slap to the wrist. But it is good.
Yeah.
The film is fucking good. I think Hans Landa is like one of the best villains like in general. But he is also on everyone's top list.
It's been a minute
so
since I watched it. Cash, you got something else?
Oh my god.
How are you
rotating that
the Nazi hunter, Jew hunter Hans Landa?
Yeah. Follow up on that.
I don't think I have anyone that crazy. Just list another.
I got Tai Lung from Kung
another
Fu
Disney
Panda.
Villain. No, he's fine. No, I think one that I'm like, this is like pretty specific, but it's the villain from Goof Family Book.
Oh my. Please no.
Literally just the guy. I don't remember what his position is. He's like an official.
He's the worst.
The worst. Oh god.
Yeah. He was. God. I don't even remember his name. Like, it's been so long since we've seen the show.
We don't care about his name.
Yeah. But like, because that show, I'm like, that show was just kind of crazy.
Dude, that show it was a show that we should have been watching when we were like 14.
Well, yeah.
Like, no, for
13,
real.
14.
Yeah.
It was traumatizing for sure.
Was.
The shit he would pull. But yeah, he was a villain that I also like hated, right? It was like,
so you decided to fight fire with fire,
villains,
huh?
Yeah, it's one of
go
those
on,
villains that you're just like, yeah, it's just one of those villains that where you're just like, I don't need to see you in a scene ever again, unlike Landon. Yeah, that guy. It's just like anytime he popped up, you're just like, no, like. We know something bad's gonna happen.
Oh my!
Like every time he came on screen.
God.
Like we know that he was planning something,
face.
and we knew that he was ready to like fuck up everybody. You know.
Yeah. Very good villain. Very good villain.
But yeah, that's my guy. But he's not a villain that I like. He's a villain. He's a villain that's very good at being a villain.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That I just hate.
Yeah,
I
think.
For sure.
I think he was just. I think he was one of the first ones that kind of like traumatized me in all kinds of ways because.
All kinds of
you know, like
inside, outside,
in terms of
all
like,
around.
You know, I mean, no, I was just like, dang, like, there's no morality to this guy. He's just out the window. I mean, like, there's no remorse.
Like self-serving.
Self-serving.
He didn't have.
More
like,
shit
very
that we can
selfish.
Think of. This guy probably did.
Yeah, it's just he was the worst of the worst, and I think he is still one of the worst of the worst that I truly hated when I watched the film or the TV show or it's just the K. It was just like, I mean, out of like K dramas, movies, TV, whatever has ever been created, he's by far one of the worst. It's disgusting because like it was almost the same thing like everybody else, all the other villains. It was like he's untouchable. No matter what you did to him, it's like he had more money.
Yeah.
He had connections. He had the military. Yeah. He had this. He had that. It's like, can you just like go out, like take him out? Somebody take him out, and it just wouldn't happen. And this is, oh my god, all the despicable things he did. It's just, my god, it was a whole roller coaster with him, and his death wasn't even satisfying. It wasn't. And it's like, wow, like this is what happens. Yeah. So it just kind of sucked overall. So that's a good villain though. That's a good choice. Terrible though. Yeah. Oh my god.
Terrible.
Yikes. So yeah. Okay, so this one, I don't know if you guys have seen this film, but this film is awesome. I think this film is really nice.
Awesome. Okay.
It is Annie Wilkes in Misery, if you guys have seen it. Kathy Bates playing Annie Wilkes. It's such it's a good film. Like a great film actually. Like awesome, out of like out of like the Stephen King films, it's one of the best ones that was made, because there's obviously Pennywise in it, but
yeah, this is a horror movie.
Well, yeah, but it's like thriller. It's thriller. It's not horror. It's thriller. Okay.
Thriller, I would count under the same, because
I guess, but this is like same thing as No Country for Old Men. It's just she's like an insane normal person. She like I mean not insane normal, but like she's like a real person that's like insane.
She's like she's like a jumbo shrimp. What? She's like a hot ice drink.
No, sorry. No, like sorry. It's like, you know what I mean? Like she's not like a Freddy. She's not like
she's like a black and white
Freddy Krueger or a Jason. Yeah. Or like she's not like a Michael Myers who's just like killing for no reason. But like so you both haven't seen the film?
No, never.
I haven't.
Okay. So basically, it's just a character. He's like an author, a famous author that like writes, and he's like a bestseller author, and he basically
right. Like best-selling author, smokes a lot of weed.
No, but he basically
last name is King. I've never seen the movie.
No, he basically goes into like the seclusion, basically, to like write, to be inspired, because authors have like weird rituals they do, and so he goes to he always goes to a hotel, and he always books this one room at this one time, and he's like basically writing his new book, or finishing a book, and he's coming down from the mountain, because that's where the hotel's at, I guess, and it's like a snowstorm coming down, and he basically gets in a car accident, and she basically rescues him, and she doesn't take him to the hospital, but she brings him to her home, and
I think I know the book.
And she basically is like, like there's blockage because of the snowstorm, and so
isn't she like a fan?
She says she's like the biggest fan, basically. And the series is called Misery. That's why the film's called Misery, but the book that he writes is Misery. And he in the book, he's like writing it, and he's like gonna go publish it, basically. That's what he was gonna do, because he finished writing, and so she's like, can I be the first one to read it, blah blah, while she's like helping him recover. And he's like, yeah, why not? You're my savior. And so she was like, okay, awesome. And she reads it, and she's like, oh my god, this is so good, blah blah. And at the end, he basically kills her favorite character, and so she's like crazy about it, because she's like yeah, because she's like, how dare you, blah blah, like this. She's like, this is terrible, blah blah.
This is me after they fucking killed Sasha in Attack on Titan. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Honestly,
R.I.P. I know. Anyways, we're not gonna talk about that right now. But yeah, so she basically, it's just a down spiral of you see her as like, oh my god, like she's a nurse, she's helping him, recover, blah blah, and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like that wasn't her intentions. Like she was not going to let him leave, and she starts letting her intentions out more of like what she was trying to do. Because she starts talking about like, oh my god, like, I'm lonely and blah blah, and I'd like to have somebody, blah blah, and I hope somebody would love me, blah blah. And so he's trying to like play games with her. So he's like, oh yeah, no, like let's go for let's do a dinner date, blah blah, because he's trying to like kind of like ease her out so then he can try to escape.
What, from his bed?
No,
Because he can't walk?
Well, yeah, right, because he can't walk. Right, he can't walk, but he's like recovering. But he's trying to like, because I think at one point he tries to drug her, but he can't because she like spills a drink, blah blah. But yeah, like she breaks because he tries to escape and she finds him, and so what she does is that because at that point he's like kind of healing already. She ties him back to the bed, and she grabs like a sledgehammer, and she basically breaks his ankles like all over again. And you just see that scene is like, oh my god, like it's so grueling. And I'm like, I was like, man, this lady is insane. Like she's batshit crazy,
dude. You know what?
Wow, I feel like breaking the knees would be like better.
The ankles was like overkill because she's like doing with all a smile. She's like, don't worry, it's gonna be over soon. And she just starts hammering down at it.
You know
and I'm
crazy?
Like, oh my god.
Bro, this movie sounds like it'd be so good as a book.
Oh yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
You think so?
It was
a book that you wouldn't ever read.
A book, man. I would read this book.
Oh
Damn.
You should read it.
You should read it.
You should.
But yeah, it's just like her as a villain was just so insane, and I think she did win an award for it. And there's also history with that, but we're not gonna get into it. So, but yeah, it's like awesome. So I think
Google later.
Yeah, I think
awesome.
she was a good villain.
It's awesome.
But yeah, Landon?
Kash, you got any?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm like that is like I bet that is
it's a wild movie.
I don't think so.
It's a wild movie.
I'm like I don't think I was gonna say I bet that is like maybe that is Stephen King's like his. One of his fears.
Oh yeah, right.
Is that he might run into a fanatic fan.
Maybe he I don't know. Maybe he experienced something
and,
with stalker. He's like, I gotta write about this.
Oh, probably.
Maybe. Who knows?
Huh?
But
yeah,
it's one of his better
sad.
like movie adaptations. Because like Pet Sematary,
a lot of his movie
terrible.
Adaptations are pretty interesting.
It not the greatest, I guess. I mean, it's okay, but it's the most iconic and the most famous because it's
James
more
McAvoy,
horror than
bro.
everything. But like, wow, James Mackey. But what is it? And then there's I like hot take, but not really hot take. But I hate The Shining. It's so boring.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an okay film, whatever. But I think Misery might be the best, honestly.
It's
now I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
It is like the actress. My God, like what she had to go through, in The Shining, insane. Because the director was just wow. But yeah, you got another one?
Yeah, villains
Landon?
though. Wait, I didn't say mine yet.
No, you said Goo Family Book, dude. It's me,
you're
me,
right.
Landon, then you.
Okay.
she's like actually wait, I got another one.
Program.
No, actually I didn't because I was.
You just wanted
just
to
thought
take.
you
Yeah, you
skipped
just
me.
wanted to get the wheel.
She just wanted some screen time.
Okay, yeah, go for it, Landon.
Okay, so I also have on here. I would say he's the villain that made the biggest impression on me. I know he's not the best villain, but from the Peaky Blinders, Luca Changretta had left.
Wow.
He's the Italian one, played by Adrian Brody.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I would have picked Chester Campbell, but that's just me.
Okay, yes, okay. Chester
hate
Campbell
Campbell.
I hate him so
Campbell.
much. I hate him so much as
Yeah.
well. But like
Sorry, Sam.
Like he did things where more or less like there was a progression to his detestableness, like. But I think what Luca did was like right off the back establish himself as a big fucking threat, and immediately put Tommy on the back foot. Where I was like, I did not expect this. And I think this is like season 4?
I think, right?
Season 6? Season 4. Yeah, and I mean, and then he gets like a really dumb write-off where it's like, how do we defeat the Italian guy who we can't beat? Because he's just like, his force is just more overwhelming and he's always a step ahead. How do we defeat him? And then it's just like Tommy making a call to Al Capone in the United States. And it's like, okay, all right, plot armor, all right. But I think this scene that introduces him, it made him like for me at least, one of the most memorable villains from Peaky Blinders. Like I said, he's definitely not like the best per se, because like you said, Campbell is
Campbell is worse,
very
man.
good and very
He's a
annoying.
man child. I don't care what you say, but he
is a man
the
child.
biggest man child I've ever
He
seen.
is.
Terrible.
He's like he's so annoying because like
He is.
He just
he's such
God.
a little rodent. He's
such a
he's
rat.
A little,
He's
oh
such
my
a
God.
rat.
Yeah, he is.
Like
terrible.
you need to step on that guy.
Yeah,
if I could,
it was bad.
Just,
It's
if he was a
bad.
rat, I'd
Cash,
step on
have you
him.
seen
Fuck.
Peaky Blinders? It's terrible.
I haven't.
Okay, Campbell, you should watch. I mean, just the first season. You can stop there.
I don't know.
In
I feel
terms
like
of
it would
like,
stress me out.
in terms
so
of
I
figuring
It is
out
stressful. It is
why
stressful,
he's
not gonna
so
lie.
disgusting. He's terrible. But yeah. Okay.
and
Anything
then-
else on your list or
And then I
anybody
have
else?
one here as well. I have Kilgrave from Jessica Jones, which I
Okay.
think without
Never
him,
seen Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones, literally out there Marvel TV show. I think without Kilgrave, that show would have failed, and it's played by David Tennant, so it kind of like makes sense. David Tennant's always really good, I think, most of the times, anytime you see him. And he plays as Kilgrave, or the Purple Man, and his whole thing is he's a character, or a villain, who, when he says anything, like, people have to listen to him, pretty much. Like, his words command people, pretty much. So, in other terms, like Inumaki from JJK. He's Marvel Inumaki,
Wow. Right.
where whatever he says, people have to listen to him.
Marvel. Okay.
And so it makes such a good, like, what's it called? He's such a good villain where our character is the character, Jessica Jones. Her power is she's just very strong, right? It's something that she can't defeat. She can't punch her way through this. And it's like this unraveling, trying to find him, trying to stop him. To be frank, I honestly don't even remember how the show ends. I just remember the more memorable points in it where it's like, like, obviously, like, his whole superpower is, like, speech, right? So anytime they would confront him, they would obviously try to have, like, do things where they won't be able to hear him or stuff like that, or make him not be able to speak. That's how they would, like, try to stop him or capture him or something. And there's a certain episode where I think, the characters have a plan. The plan's going great. Everything's going in their favor. And then a character has the radio on, and suddenly they hear his voice on the radio. And they're all like, fuck. And so it's not just them. Even if they turn the radio off, they can be saved from it. But anyone who's listening to the radio at that point in time will be under his control, And it was stuff like that is like what makes him such a good villain and such a
Damn, technology really
Yeah.
helped him. huh?
Technology really helped him.
It's just
Wow.
like Inumaki with his big old what is it?
But
the
the thing
phonograph?
with him is that he can't talk too much.
Yeah,
because,
right.
yeah,
He's got a
He-
throat
he
spray
gasped.
though, and if
Yeah.
he drinks the
Oh.
throat spray, ooh, power up.
Throat spray. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Wow.
would say
Really good.
Kilgrave, Purple Man. He was definitely a villain from a TV show that I think without him, the TV show would have probably failed. Because I think the most interesting,
He's just OP.
he's very OP, and I think he's the one thing that made the show, like, it made the show
Interesting,
go. Yeah,
I guess.
interesting, and defeating him was such a big thing, which is, I guess, why I think after that happens, the show just kind of gets kind of boring, and Jessica Jones doesn't really have anything to do, and so when she moves on to the Defenders, which is like the collaboration show between all the
Okay.
shows, she's just kind of a nothing burger because David Tennant's Purple Man was kind of the most interesting
Damn.
thing about the show. I mean, her character's
Wow.
kind of fun, I guess, but he was definitely the best part of the show, without a doubt. And I think that's all the villains I have immediately,
Okay.
and what I can think of right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. What about you, Mickey?
well, I mean, I put these two one. One of them is more famous than the other one, obviously. But they're both from the same show.
Okay.
But Fullmetal Alchemist, obviously, we're gonna put Sho Tucker in
yeah,
because he's
of
a
course.
terrible. He's just terrible.
Of
Just
course.
thinking about that. But I would say Envy is the worst villain, like in
Oh.
that franchise, because
I don't
'Cause if-
know anything,
'cause
so
if you
please
guys-
don't spoil too much.
well, he
Lol.
basically they make, because I'm pretty sure everybody when they were watching it,
Yeah.
as it was coming out, everybody was attached to this one character, and then he gets absolutely he doesn't get he just gets killed because he's just regular. He's just a guy. He's not an alchemist. He's just a dude, but he's like the most wholesome dude, and he's like a family man that's like that loves his family, and he just wants to go home. He does, like, he's like, you know what, like, let's just not always work and stress
You
on
know
work.
when that setup
And-
happens, that
Okay,
person's done.
okay, see,
come on,
and,
no.
and I'm like, oh my god, like yes, and it's just that one scene that like just kills you, because this scene made me quit Fullmetal Alchemist for like maybe a year, because I was like, screw it, because it really pissed me off that they killed him off, and it's just like it's satisfying because Mustang, who was his best friend, kills Envy, at the end, and it's just like he goes all.
Didn't Landon just say don't spoil?
Oh, sorry.
No!
But it's okay. But
I mean, okay.
Wow.
I can assume that Envy dies probably, but like,
well, yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
it means
right.
nothing to
But
me right
it's
now
just
because
it just
like,
takes for. It's just like, oh my god, like after finally killing him, it's just like, thank goodness, it's just because it was just like, my god, like we just need to end him, take him out, like just delete him, and he basically deletes him, and I was like, thank you.
Delete him.
I'm like, thank you. But yeah, so I hate him so much. But yeah, and then Koba from Planet of the Apes. God, I hate him.
I'm surprised
Koba
you
is
had him.
He's so annoying. Koba's so annoying. What's his freaking dumbass line? I hate Koba. Like Koba's so annoying. I was like, bro, like
I
what
like
are you
Koba.
doing,
I like
man?
Koba a lot as well.
He's
not one of my top
he's a good
villains,
villain,
but he's such
he's a good villain. He's such a. I was like, I hate Koba.
I think that my problem with like, oh god, it's the way he influences Caesar even after his death.
Right.
Even after his death. And the way
right.
Caesar looks back on him as his biggest failure, not because because Koba's fucked up and he couldn't stop Koba, but because like Caesar blames himself for not leading Koba down the right path. For not making sure Koba was okay with everything, and not making sure that Koba is on the same page as everyone. And I think that influence alone makes him like a villain that that residually, even after his death, even after
they show his
his
aftermath.
He's still a character that like we're still like, fuck man, this guy is still making an impact even when he's not alive.
They still reference
right.
him.
Yeah. So. And then obviously, I mean, I put the Joker, Heath Ledger, but that's because it's just
that's a gimme.
I mean, it's a gimme.
Yeah.
So it's just the performance of Heath Ledger that like is insane on him. Just the way he worked that character into his own version of the Joker. Because obviously there's a million different Jokers, right? But his Joker is peak Joker, like the absolute Joker. Hands down, no matter who you think is the best, like he is the best. Like the Joker, how he made it him like its own personality. Like the Joker was already iconic and famous, but he made it so much more than that. And it's just,
I mean, he was the best thing. He was the best thing to watch during The Dark Knight, like without a doubt.
Yeah.
His performance, any scene with him, it was like electric.
it was.
Okay.
What a word choice.
We felt very different things.
What a word choice.
Because to be frank, Batman, like Bruce Wayne was quite
he's
boring.
kind of just.
He's quite boring.
Yeah,
takes a back
He is.
He's. I would say this is probably his least least involved film out of all of them, because I think the Joker just kind of steals the show.
Yeah, steals the spotlight.
If anything, because Heath Ledger, like you said, his performance is just phenomenal, and I think his take on the character and what he did with the character was just something that like nobody expected, nobody was prepared for, and he just like changed. I would say he changed cinema forever.
Oh, okay.
With Heath Ledger,
well, he did though. Joker. Heath Ledger and the Joker, he did.
I would say he
it was
changed
very
cinema
monumental.
As
he did.
Without
he did. I would agree on that.
Because he is a cornerstone, and anytime people reference a villain like us, we will always come back.
He's kind of like the
lead to
foundation
him.
of everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. Yeah.
All roads lead to him.
Cannot.
I feel like at the end of the day, that's how it normally works.
Yeah. What is it? And I put these two.
Normally works.
I put these two villains just because. I mean, which I'm not gonna say too much about it, just because we already know. But obviously Loki is amazing. I'm gonna go. He's a villain, but he's also, I guess you can make him a hero. But he was a villain. Like
he's more of an anti-hero.
I mean, I guess, but
the reason why I don't see him as a villain is because he's
though.
never a threat.
Wow. Wow.
He's not really. Not
Crazy.
really.
But he was a villain.
Like, there's
like you know.
antics.
But obviously the main one, Thanos. I mean, I was talking
very
with
good.
my fiance, and I'm like,
That was so funny. In my head, I was like, "You also wasn't a threat."
oh come on, what?
No, Thanos is pretty
You know what I
scary.
mean? But like, whoever, everybody that was a fan of Marvel, like the MCU,
Yeah.
hated Thanos. Like all in unison, just hated Thanos because.
I don't think I hated him.
Okay,
I was kinda like,
I mean,
damn,
but
think-
like,
sucks.
no,
you
I
know what I
think
mean? It was just
he's
the
controversial, which I think
he's
is a good
yeah.
thing.
But like the whole meme of like I'm the only one that knows. Like, boy, what are you talking about? Like like as the meme of like the parents talking to a kid about like oh I'm the one that I'm the only one that understands it. I'm the only one that has the will to do it. And I'm like, bro, like what are you on? Like what kind of BS are you on? So it's just he was such a just despicable.
I mean, I'm not gonna
villain.
lie. As like I'm sure some of us, like a good majority of us, were kind of like, hold on, he kind of cooking though. He kind of cooking though for a second there. But
Okay.
like obviously at the end of the day, he is a villain, and what he's trying to do is bad. But I think they make you
Right.
feel for his character, and because he's pretty much the main character of Infinity War, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Right,
People have analysis of it all over the internet of like how
It's
he has the
just-
most screen time. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, and
He was the
He does.
most
I
I
Yeah,
mean,
screen time,
but
yeah.
he is, yeah. But and it's just the fact that like they try to kill him, and it just never seems to work too. You know what I mean? And then you gotta have Stark sacrifice himself basically for everything. So it's just kind of like just the whole buildup of that
Very
arc
good, very
of
good.
the MCU, amazing. And also I guess I'll just also put down because I rewatched it again. I'm like, you know what? Like what Landon was saying, he is a good villain, but Ultron, amazing. But we're gonna move on from
Dude,
there.
You
I was like,
watched
Ultron?
Oh, bro.
I
okay.
rewatched it and I was
Yeah.
like, man, Ultron. I'm like, you're actually good, but
He's not.
we're not gonna.
He's not phenomenal, but I think
No,
I think
he's
he's-
really well written,
I
super well written.
I think he's well written to a degree. He is still a very flawed character. Like this guy breaks
Right.
jokes out like faster. Like
No,
he
okay,
breaks out jokes
yeah,
so
but
fast,
he's supposed to have the personality of Stark, so yes.
Well, I get that,
because
but-
he yeah, you know what I mean. So because like obviously Vision is more dry, but he's not like Stark, but you can see the resemblance. Like, oh yeah, it's Stark's creation kind of a thing. So he has the same sarcasm as
it's like the
RDJ.
yeah,
so,
but
so,
yeah, it's
you
know what? Yeah, I was like Ultron, very fun villain.
he's
I'm kind of glad
he's
he came
he's
around. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
I
I was
actually.
like yeah.
I after I rewatched Age of Ultron as well, I was like, this movie's actually not that bad. I hate myself for
What?
I hate myself
the
for
movie's
thinking it's bad.
meh, but like him as a villain, he's he's a really fun villain. But let's see, the another villain that I put was the other mother in Coraline. She's
Oh, yeah.
like as a
She's
as a
freaky.
child, yeah, very freaky,
Does
very
she
crazy.
turn into like a
Yeah.
And it's-
spider?
Well, I mean, yeah. She
kinda
she
like a
is kind of like a spider, yeah.
Yeah.
But like
I don't
just
remember it too well.
that, like kind of like oh my god, buttons, like because first you're like okay, what the heck is this?
Oh my
like,
God,
well yeah, but you're like
buttons?
okay, like this is weird. But then she's like, we gotta sew your buttons on, and then that's when you're like oh, like this is like stranger danger kind of stuff, So
Yeah,
so
man.
like as a kid, very scary. I have Gollum / Smeagol from the Lord of the Rings series.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he is a villain. He is a villain, but like some people might not list him as it, but like for him it's more so that like you can sympathize with him a little bit of how
Yeah, I don't know if I would say he's a villain, but
I mean he is a
villain was too strong. of a
yeah, I
word
guess
to
yeah
describe
for
him.
but but Smeagol is evil, and it was the whole, but like it's like yeah, just seeing the whole like Jekyll and Hyde of him, of Gollum and Smeagol swap back and forth, and of Gollum being like, so it's more, I guess, more Smeagol than Gollum, but like Gollum being like, no, they're friends, and he's like, no, like, well, what are you talking about? We got to like take it from, we got to take advantage of them, and then the whole thing of just Gollum being like, oh, like I don't need you anymore because they're friends, and he basically shuts Smeagol out, and then after they kind of like not abuse him or whatever, but like they kind of get into like bad like a bad situation, and they kind of throw him under the bus. Then Smeagol comes back out, and it's like, oh, see, like they weren't your friends, it's just like, oh my god, like he's back at square one kind of a situation. And it's just like, dang, because he was a hobbit once, and the same thing happened where he had the ring, and he kind of just, it drove him crazy having the ring with him, and he basically the whole oh my precious thing. So I think Gollum and Smeagol, he's just like it oddly sympathetic for him. Like it's what I would say. It's kind of a weird feeling with him, but he is a good character. Like one of the more iconic characters of the Lord of the Rings series. Probably the most iconic. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I would say probably the most iconic outside of
memorable.
outside of Legolas, which it doesn't make any sense because Legolas
is boring.
I don't
Anyways,
understand why he was so
sorry
why
guys.
he's so iconic.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like Orlando Bloom, come on now. But
he's not even that hot.
what is it? And then
Oh my god.
I want to put. I mean, this one I just put because she is also like iconic, but she represents more than that. And it's Ursula from the Little Mermaid because she is because she's one of like in terms of like she represents a whole nother population that Disney doesn't represent, and she like
octopi.
no like a character that's like of heavier weight.
What do you mean?
Like of heavier weight.
Okay.
Like they gave her a lot of there's a like she's a villain and like Disney said was that we didn't make too much of like Ursula merch and stuff like that because we didn't think she would be that famous or whatever, but like so many people gravitated towards her because they're like, oh my god, like they're like me, so it resonated with them, not in terms of like the character too much, but like but like they're like they kind of like
brethren rise up.
But like because like everybody gotta be the standard look of Disney look, so and even the villains, like the queens, it's like Maleficent, like
even the
like
queens,
they're the same typical cookie cutter like look, and so Ursula was just so much different. And so like everybody like was like, oh my god, like she's different, and like she's
an iconic villain because she has curves.
I mean, I guess if you want to put it that way, but like if you look into it, everybody does like appreciate and like that. Like Ursula was different.
Everybody,
but not everybody, but a lot of people.
I get what you're going for. Yeah, I get what you're going for though. Ursula is definitely she's a good villain. I think I don't think I had ever seen The Little Mermaid in its entirety as a kid. So
no
I had
way.
never. No,
yes,
we
you
did though.
You were in love.
Yeah.
I liked Ariel.
Yeah,
no,
Ariel is your favorite.
We saw the DVD like special. That's what we had on DVD. It was not even the film that we had. So we didn't have the full I had no point of reference for Ursula. So when I had heard inklings of her, I heard inklings of her.
Jokes.
She was kind of like that villain that a lot of people really liked, but I never really got to know her per se. And she was definitely a character who was different from most.
You didn't get to know her.
But,
I only knew her through osmosis. But yeah, a lot of people do like her though.
Wow.
Osmosis, is that weird?
Anyways.
Osmosis.
I don't think that's But
that's funny.
Anyways, and then my last
molecules like water move through.
Yeah.
Wow.
Osmosis,
Anyways, So we're running out of time, but this is my last one, and it's kind of a joke, but it's not a joke because I really despise this actor. Because why are you even in here? But we talked about it before previously, but I just wanted to do a quick reference. So, but Matt Damon in Interstellar, screw you, Matt Damon.
Oh my god!
Like, what in the world? Why it's always a jump scare?
Is he a villain?
Yes, he's a villain. He tries to kill Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah,
I'm like he's it's like they opened the pod and it's just like, oh my god, it's fucking him. Like, why are you in here? Why are you here? It's like, why are you? And then he fakes his mother effing data because he's like, I'm scared. Like, boy. Oh my god! It's just like so you basically just wanna risk the human race because you're scared. Like, bro, come on. I mean, I get it, but my god, he's just a little shit. He's a little shit. Matt Damon, I hate Matt Damon. Like, I'm sorry, but every time
wow, what's his name in there? You guys just keep saying
Doctor something. I don't care. I'm like Anne Hathaway. Why do you have a crush on him? For what? Like, what? He's such a jump scare. I can't with him. I'm like, the first time I ever saw Interstellar, I was like, oh my god, this man is on this again. I'm like, why is he in everything? I'm like, go back to We Bought a Zoo and stay there. Like, what are you doing?
Here's the crazy part.
Oh my god.
Here's the crazy part. The next Christopher Nolan movie, He's the main character.
Oh my god.
It's Matt
Wait, are you
Damon.
serious?
Yeah, it's Matt Damon and it's Tom Holland. Those are the next two main characters.
The
of the next Nolan
Martian.
film.
Like, bro, what are you doing? Get out.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? It's just
So
yeah.
maybe,
Matt Damon is
maybe if that
crazy.
is the biggest villain in all of film and TV, it might just be Matt Damon. But
no.
my
We got to reference back
God.
to the devil. You know what I mean? That was the best.
Oh, yeah.
That was the
maybe
best. That was the
we're
best.
same.
He's the villain of the world.
The villain. All right, yeah. To wrap this
Cash
episode
goes-
up.
Villain of everyday
Yeah, Cash
life.
goes, how do you feel about the devil? Let's bring him to the conversation real quick. It's like,
best
oh yeah,
villain,
let's talk about the biggest villain here.
Yes.
Wow.
That's just
Okay, my
wonderful.
Right, see? You say all roads lead to Heath
The Heath
Ledger.
Ledger's
No.
Joker.
I
Yeah. Think again. It's actually the devil.
It's actually the devil.
Wow.
He's everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Anyways.
yeah,
All right. I guess we'll end it here.
This is a good
Very
place to wrap it
abruptly.
up.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
abruptly. Sorry, guys. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
thank
Thanks
you guys
thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thank you for listening to the SBSB podcast and hearing us rant about our favorite villains. If you guys want to contact us or have anything to say, talk to us about your favorite villains. If the devil is on your list, I guess
It's
comment
on my list.
or comment or DM us. DM us. No, don't DM us.
Don't DM
Don't
us.
DM us. Oh no.
Actually, DM
Comment
us.
or check us out. Follow us on what is it? Twitter or X?
Yeah, we're on
X
socials.
the everything app.
Oh my god,
YouTube,
yeah.
Gotta get
Spotify,
technical.
We don't ever really
Apple.
use X, but yeah, just
Everything,
follow us everywhere
yeah.
on socials. We're I believe listed as SBSB. The
Yeah, I think
podcast.
everywhere.
Everywhere,
Right.
everywhere. Even
Yeah.
even Pinterest. That's yep.
I don't know if we're there,
Pinterest.
but what a choice.
We might be there too.
All
We
right.
might be. You never know.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I think that should be it.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Adios.
Bye.